English is the language that most people speak so that you can communicate. You'll need to speak with them. Even though they may be from the Philippines, you can still talk to them in English, okay? So you need to talk with your coworkers, okay, on a ship. So here are some common phrases that you will use in speaking with the people that you work with. Not the passengers, but the other employees, okay? For example, you're going to greet them the same way you greet a passenger. When you see them in the morning, you say, "Good morning." When you see them at night, "Good evening." Right? "Good evening." If you meet them for the first time, when you come onto the ship and you meet them, you're going to want to know, how long have you worked here? Have you worked here a year? 2 years? Maybe you're brand new, just like you are, right? You want to know. So how long have you worked here? You also are going to want to know, if you meet somebody, you're going to want to know what they do. Do they work in engineering like you? Do they work in the galley? Do they work in the bridge with the captain? Do they work
in the purser's office?
In the purser's office? Do they run a shop in the atrium? Maybe they're a bartender on the Lido deck. So you're going to ask them, what do you do aboard the ship? What's your job on the ship, right? What do you do aboard the ship? Of course, you're going to want to introduce yourself. When I came in, what was the first thing I did? I said, "My name's Professor Cunningham," right? So you want to do the same thing. When you meet your new coworkers, you're going to say, "My name is," whatever your name is, right? And then you're going to want to know, what's your name? "My name is," what is your name? Okay. And then a lot of times you're going to be starting out, you're going to be new, right? Some of you are going to be new. And it's going to be the first time you're doing something and you're unclear and you're confused. And you know what? You need to ask for help. Sometimes you're going to need to ask for help. So you're going to say, "Can you help me with this, please? Can you help me, please?" Right? Maybe you have to carry something really heavy and you're trying to get it. It's too heavy. So you say, "Can you help me with this, please?" And the two of you can carry it to wherever you need to go.
What is more correct? Can or could? Could you or can you?
Either. Either is fine. One or the other. One or the other.
But
Can you help me with this? The most important word is this one.
Yes.
Please. Right? Please and thank you. Right? Because that's the key word. It could and can, that's fine. Either one. But please is most important. Always be polite with your coworkers. Always be respectful of your coworkers. Okay? So please and thank you. Now the other thing is, sometimes you're going to ask for help, but then you want to offer your help too, right? Sometimes your coworker might need help. So you'll say, "Can I help?" Or "Can I help you?" Or "Do you need any help?" You want to offer your assistance. Okay? Or sometimes, like with customer service, you may remember at the very beginning, the very first thing we did, right? You were like, "Let me see if I can find someone to help you," right?
Yes.
And then what are you going to do? You're going to go to your coworker and say, "Hey, I need help assisting this passenger." Okay? "I need help with this passenger." Okay? In addition to your name, remember, you're going to be from all over the world, right? Mexico, United States, Italy, Greece, Portugal, Dominican Republic. So you're going to say, "I am from," wherever you're from, Veracruz. Where are you from? You're getting to know them, right?
Yes.
Because you're going to be working with them for weeks and months. So you're going to be more than just coworkers. Many times you'll be friends. You want to make friends, right? And you want to be polite. So "I am from," wherever you're from. Where are you from? You're getting to know them. First time on the ship, brand new ship, you may not know where to go. "Can you please tell me how to get to the head? Because I need to use the bathroom." Or "Can you please tell me how to get to the galley? Because I want something to eat." Or "Can you please tell me how to get to the bridge? I need to talk to the captain." Or "Can you please tell me how to get to the atrium? I need to speak with the purser."
Or also the mess. The mess is the cafeteria for employees.
For employees,
Employee cafeteria is MESS, mess.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean that it's dirty, that's just the name on a cruise ship.
Sometimes it's called the mess hall.
Yes.
Yeah, the mess or the mess hall. And that's where you guys eat. Okay?
So,
And then, of course, it was nice to meet you, or it was a pleasure meeting you. Okay? So after you've met them, you've made friends with them, you want to say it was nice to meet you, or it was a pleasure meeting you. Okay? Remember, guys, when you work with people, you want to get along with them. Okay? You don't have to be their best friend, but you want to have a good relationship with them. You want to be polite, you want to be respectful. Okay? So these are the words and phrases that will allow you to interact with people that you work with professionally and respectfully. Now, this is where we have some fun. Idioms. Idioms. Idioms are phrases that people use that don't mean what it seems like they mean. Sometimes they're called figures of speech. And American and British people use idioms all the time. And it's very confusing for someone who speaks Spanish or speaks French or speaks Russian or something like that to understand, because British and American people are terrible about using idioms. We use them all the time. For example, it is raining cats and dogs. Now, when an American says that, what they're really saying is, it's raining very hard. The rain's really coming down. But they'll say it's raining cats and dogs. Now, when you hear that, you're going to be looking at the clouds thinking, what? Cats and dogs? Cats and dogs are coming out of the sky? No. That's not what they mean. What they mean is, it's raining very hard. Okay? It's a figure of speech. It's an idiom. It's a way of saying it's raining hard. Okay? Another example. I have finally seen the light. Okay, well, have they literally turned on the light and see the light? Well, what light do they see? Well, that's not what they mean. When they say, I have finally seen the light, they mean, I finally understand. Okay, it makes sense. I understand. I comprehend it. They may also say, a penny for your thoughts. A penny for your thoughts. And what that really means is, what are you thinking about? They're not literally saying, here's a penny, give me your thought, right? It's not that. What they're really saying is, what are you thinking about? Tell me what you're thinking about. So idioms are phrases that mean something different. Remember we talked about code words, right? Kind of like code words. Well, this is kind of like code words. They seem like they're saying one thing, but they mean something different. Okay?
Is that regionalist?
Say again?
Is regionalist?
Regionalism.
Right,
I don't know what that
from a
is.
region like the regionalism.
Yes. Yes, like it's a dialect.
Yes.
Or there's a big long word for it. It's called vernacular. Okay? But yes, you're right. It depends on what region you're from. People from New York City use different idioms than people from Miami. People from Chicago use different idioms than people from London. Okay? So you're going to hear different idioms. I'm going to give you some common ones. Okay? Now, the thing is when you know these, you can avoid confusion, because you don't want to be confused, and avoid embarrassment. Right? You don't want to be embarrassed. You want to know what they're talking about. So I'm going to give you some common ones that you'll encounter working with American and British employees. Okay? One example is 24/7. Okay? An American might be like, man, it's been raining 24/7. Well, you're going to be like, well, what does 24/7 mean? Is that some kind of like code number or something? No, when they say 24/7, they mean 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, meaning all the time.
Yes.
If they say it's raining 24/7, that means it's been raining all the time. Okay? 24/7. When they say tough break, that means something unlucky has happened. All right? Maybe you are carrying something and you trip and fall and it breaks, right? Smashes on the floor. They may say, tough break. That means something bad or unlucky has happened. Okay. If they say, hey, you're ahead of the curve. Ahead of the curve, what they really mean is you're more advanced than others. You're ahead of them. You're beyond you're doing really, really good.
Yes.
Okay. ASAP. You'll hear that all the time in a workplace. Hey, I need this done ASAP. I need you to go clean that room ASAP. Well, ASAP is short for as soon as possible. Meaning quickly, right away, right now. Okay? As soon as you can, it needs to be done. That's what ASAP means. Okay? You'll hear that a lot. Some other ones. Back to square one. Back to square one. Square one? Where's square two? Or square three? What does back to square one mean? Back to square one means we have to start from the beginning. Okay? Maybe you're working on a project and you're building it and you get done and you're like, it's not working. It's not working. We have to go back to square one. Meaning you got to start all over. Okay. Another one, start from scratch. Also means to start over. We got to start from scratch. Got to start from the very beginning. We got to do it all over again. Okay? And these are the phrases because, you know, if you're working with an American and they say, all right, we got to start from scratch, and you know what that means, you could be embarrassed, you could be confused, you're not sure what they mean. So knowing these common idioms, these common phrases, will help you avoid all of that. Here's some more. Go back to the drawing board. Well, if someone says that to you, you might think, what drawing board? Why do I need to go back to a drawing board? Well, that's not what they mean literally. What they really mean is we have to start over at the planning stage. We got to start all over again. We got to go back and start and think about our plan one more time. Ballpark figure. This is an American one, right? Because Americans, they play baseball in ballparks. That's what we call them, right? Stadiums. We call them ballparks. So a ballpark figure, what does that mean? Does that mean a baseball player? A pitcher? Like, ballpark figure is simply an estimated number, okay? Estimated, meaning they don't want an exact number. They kind of want to give me an idea. How much is it going to be? Give me a ballpark figure. Estimate how much it's going to be.
The pronunciation, the figure?
Figure.
Figure.
Now, my wife and I argue about this all the time. My wife is Puerto Rican. I'm from New York, okay? I say figure.
Figure.
I say figure, but she says figure. You see the difference? Figure, figure. Okay? So it's a little different in the way we say it. So you'll hear me say figure, ballpark figure. She'll say ballpark figure.
Is correct, Bob?
Both are correct. Okay. I would suggest you use hers because she probably speaks a little bit more clearly than I do. Figure, figure, ballpark figure is an estimated number. Behind the scenes. Behind the scenes means what happens in secret, right? Because there's always that part of a cruise ship. The cruise ship is always going to want the passengers to see the best, right? Make sure that everything they see is clean and happy and everybody's smiling. They don't want to see the ugly parts of the ship. They don't want to see the bottom parts of the ship where it's all messy and dirty and smelly. Or they don't want to know how their food gets prepared, right? They just want to see their food on the table. So behind the scenes means what happens in secret, what the passengers don't see. Okay? What happens in the galley, what happens down below deck, those types of things. By the book. Your boss will tell you, I want everything done by the book. And you're going to be like, what book? I never get a book. Right? By the book means to follow the rules exactly. Okay? If you're going to do it by the book, you do everything right. You don't cut corners, you don't break the rules, you do it by the book. You follow the rules exactly. Right? This is one you'll hear a lot. Call it a day. Australian people use this a lot. Okay? People from Australia. Call it a day. When you call it a day, that means you stop working for the day. Okay? Your shift is over. You can go home, or you can go to your cabin. You're off work. Call it a day. It means your work day is over. Okay? They may say, all right, time to call it a day. That means it's time to stop working. Call it a day. Yep.
Call it day.
Call it a day. That means to stop working. You're done working. To give someone a pat on the back. A pat on the back is this, right? I'm patting him on the back. Well, that means that you tell someone they did a good job. So you're not going to want to, somebody might come and say to you, you really deserve a pat on the back.
Okay.
Well, they don't really mean that they're going to come and pat you on the back. Good job, son. They're not going to do that. What they really mean is, hey, you did a really good job. You deserve a pat on the back. Okay? Remember, they're not talking literally. They don't mean they want you to actually pat someone on the back. Idioms say something, but they mean something else. Okay? And you have to figure out.
For example, with congratulations.
Yeah, it's similar to a congratulations. You did a really good job today. You deserve a pat on the back. Or that guy over there, he's really, really good. He deserves a pat on the back. So you go up and you say, hey, you did a really good job. A few more. To go the extra mile. Go the extra mile means to do more than what is expected. Remember, when you work your job, you always want to go the extra mile. You always want to do more than what's expected of you, right? That's a good thing, to go the extra mile. Sometimes your coworker may say, hey, I'm tied up here. Now, do they mean literally they're rope and they're tied up to the wall and they can't move? No. What they mean when they say, I'm tied up, means they're busy with something. They can't help you right now because they're busy doing something else. I'm tied up, right? You may say, hey, can you help me move this over there? And they'll say, no, I can't. I'm all tied up. Okay? And that's what that means. It means they're too busy to help you. To learn the ropes. Learn the ropes means to learn the basics of something, right? The basics of something. Right now, you're learning the ropes, right? Because you're learning how to speak on a cruise ship. This is basic stuff. You're learning the ropes. Now, are you literally learning ropes? Are you, looking at them and studying them? No. Remember, it doesn't mean exactly what it says it means. It means something else. Some other idioms: be on the ball or be on your toes. It means to be alert, to be attentive, to pay attention, to look. Right? We want you to be on the ball, okay? Or be on your toes. The boss is coming. Okay? Look alive, look alert. They may say, put the cart before the horse. What cart? What horse? Well, put the cart before the horse means to do things in the wrong order. Okay, don't put the cart before the horse. Don't do this until you do this. Okay? Because if you have a cart, right, and you have a horse, you're going to put the cart in front of the horse in front of the cart, right? So the horse can pull it. If you put the cart in front of the horse, it's not going to go anywhere. So this expression, this figure of speech, means to do things in the wrong order. Okay? To rock the boat. A lot of times coworkers will tell you, hey, don't rock the boat. Now, do they really mean to rock the cruise ship back and forth? No. What they mean is to cause problems. Don't rock the boat means don't cause problems. Okay? Don't be a problem maker. And in the same thing, in the same boat, they may say, hey, I'm in the same boat as you. Okay? In that case, when they say in the same boat, that means you share the same situation, right? You're both, you can say, man, I've worked 5 straight days. And they'll say, hey, I'm in the same boat. I'm doing the same thing you are. Okay? Last couple here. They may say, take the bull by the horns. Take the bull by the horns means to get control of a situation right away. You don't wait until it becomes a problem, you attack it. Okay? And you get control right now. You figure it out right away. Okay? Take the bull by the horns. A lot of times your boss will tell you, think outside the box. Think outside the box. That means that he or she wants you to be creative, to use your imagination. Don't just do the same old thing every time. Do something different. Be creative. Here's one that I like, and I'll explain to you what that means. It's Miller time. Americans will use this expression a lot, right? Americans will say, it's Miller time. What that means, it's time to quit for the day and time to go have a drink, time to go have a cerveza. Okay? The reason, the history behind this is there's a beer in the United States called Miller beer, and they used to have advertisements, and their advertisements would say, it's Miller time. And it'd show guys getting off of work or, leaving the office, and they'll say to each other, hey, it's Miller time. And the next thing you know, you see them and they're drinking beer after work. Okay? And it's an expression that means it's Miller time. Well, Miller time is it's time to quit, go for a drink, and relax. Okay?
Okay.
It's Miller time. And then lastly, the writing is on the wall. You'll hear that expression a lot too. And that means that there's clues or suggestions that something's going to happen. They may be gossip, and your coworker may come to you and say, hey, did you hear that Pablo got fired? He's not on the ship anymore. And they'll say, yeah, well, the writing was on the wall, meaning we saw it coming. We knew it was there. There were clues. There were suggestions that it was going to happen. It was only a matter of time. Okay? The writing is on the wall means clues or suggestions that something is going to happen.